What's up, y'all? It's Tisha the Diva, and this is for my ladies. This is my podcast where amazing things happen and we get to talk, discuss, and celebrate real women of color. This is for my ladies is just for you. This podcast is a place where I get to highlight not only my life dreams and goals, but yours too. I believe I was called to create a platform for myself to express not only my thoughts, but those of other women that's unfiltered and untamed. I plan to talk and discuss topics that interest me and other women. I want my audience to be engaged and aware. So any topics, email them to me at tishadediva@gmail.com. What's up, y'all? It's Tisha the Diva. Y'all know already time. Oh my gosh, that's what happens when it's live. So anyway, I'm looking at the camera trying to look at myself. The TV. But anyway, what's up, y'all? It's Tisha the Diva. Y'all already know what time it is. This is for my ladies. I am back with season 2, episode 35 of This Is For My Ladies podcast. If you are not already doing so, make sure you subscribe to This Is For My Ladies podcast. It is streaming on 10 platforms, including iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, of course, Stitchers, 10 platforms. You can Google Tisha the Diva, the name down below. You can Google that and everything will come up where you can follow me, where you can check me out, listen to me, listen to the podcast and everything else. So also you can become a supporter of this podcast on Anchor. So all you would have to do is download the Anchor app or go on your desktop and type in anchor.fm. That's ANCHOR.FM on your desktop, or just download the app, Anchor app, and you can become a supporter. You can give a small little donation every month. Help me out. You know, this allows me to continue to build and to produce more content and all that stuff. It's helping me out. So if you go to Planet Fitness and you're not working out and they're still withdrawing that $21.99, you might as well go ahead and get it canceled and send that my way, okay? Because I'm working out your mind, all right? And you ain't working nothing out physically. But anyway, no shade. So over the weekend, I had an amazing weekend. It was great. I went to Girl Talking Martinis at Culture Lounge, hosted by @ShyLitty on Instagram, and Lipsticks and Labels, also on Instagram. Y'all already know a girl, Big Ish. She done came through here twice and sat at this table, and we had an amazing conversation. So she asked me to be a guest host for the Girl Talking Martinis, which was an amazing event. I met some amazing women. We talked about so much. It was real women sharing real stories, real struggles, real triumphs. It was amazing. The energy in there was great, and I was able to network with so many amazing women. And with that being said, so I was going out to go to the car. You know, when you go to the car, you go to the car. So I was leaving out of Culture, going to the car, and I just saw this person, and I'm like, hey, girl, it's just like, it felt like I had already knew you. Like, you look familiar. You like, whatever. So, you was like, hey, they starting inside. I was like, a couple minutes, but, we'll be starting soon, all that stuff or whatever. So get in, I'm sitting down, and, you come over and you introducing yourself, you talking and all that stuff, and you hand me your business card. And I was just like, oh my God, like, I used to watch your show. Like, you are the Satoria Nicole. Like, so welcome to This Is For My Ladies.
Yes.
I am so excited to have you, only because you had a show on SKYTV 4. It was called the Satoria Nicole Show, where you did interviews with Karen Silva, Cardi B.
Yes.
Like, I watched that. Oh, my goodness. So, we love Cardi over here, and we love Nicki Minaj and everybody else, but, everything is neutral at this table. But anyway, I just thought that, you were definitely an inspiration for me because like we were talking about, before this, how, people want to know stuff and people, don't want to give them free game. It's just like free information and people don't want to volunteer it. But of course, me being who I am, I'm like, oh, she on Sky TV, Sky TV4. Let me Google that and all that stuff. So when you was like, yeah, Kathy, I'm like, oh, I didn't talk to her before because I didn't called her up.
Yes,
like,
yes.
So yes. So explain to the audience who you are, and as far as how you got started, what made you want to, because you were in the media and then you transitioned and now you are a motivational speaker and life coach.
Yes.
You are the founder and creator of the Encouragement House, where it is, explain.
So pretty much how I got started, I was 4 years old and we didn't have cable. Mm-hmm. So we was in the house. We could only watch talk shows in church. Mm-hmm. Talk shows in church. That was it. So Oprah.
Yeah.
Okay. All of us is in my grandma's living room and everyone's like, it was the episode where Oprah was giving away cars. It was like, you get a car, you get a car. And all my cousins was like, oh, I want a car. And I was like, I want to be the person that give away the cars. Like I want to give them away. I want to give away houses. I want to give back. And so from that, it was always like, all right, goal is Oprah. So, growing up, I put myself in positions to host. I put myself in positions to be on the radio and things like that. But over time, I found out that wasn't what my passion really was. Like, being on TV was cool, but it came with a lot of clout chasing. Mm-hmm. It came with a lot of fake it until you make it. And people don't know how many boxes of oodles and noodles I had to eat to pay that $10,000 to be on Sky 4. Like it was a lot of sacrificing, and a lot of not going out and a lot of not shopping for myself because I was really investing in, what I thought I wanted to do, which my end goal, I don't know why I thought I could pay for the show and give away cars, but that was my goal. But from that, I got pregnant with my twins, and from there, I wasn't even able to do the show. Halfway through my second season, I was really, really sick, so I had to end my second season 6 episodes in, which is really 13 episodes. Yeah. So I had to end it early. Had the babies. That was a whole life-changing experience in itself. And then I took a year off, and then I kind of went through a spiritual journey, and I had to do some soul searching and basically found out that I want to help people, but not in the sense of being on TV. And that's how I got into motivational speaking and life coaching.
Okay. So as far as you were stating that you were paying $10,000 to be on TV, how do you think that you want it as far as where you are now? And you laughing at me, Mark? Oh. Do you feel that, do you regret even doing the TV and all that stuff or whatever? Like, how do you feel like it pushed you as far as, where you were then and where you are now? And you were talking about the whole faking it until you making it. And
that's a great question.
Yeah.
Okay. So I wish that I could go back and get all my money back. Okay. And had never done the show at all. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like you said, do I think I would be where I'm at today? No. It was a lot of things that I learned, just being in the industry, especially as a woman, it's really hard. People try to get you to, oh, you want to interview this celebrity? Well, if you want to interview this celebrity, I can get you in there, but you got to do this, you got to do that. Wow. And it was like, whoa. Do I want it that bad? Yeah. No, I don't. Wow. I don't even want it because that's not what I'm in it for. Right. I'm in it to really give back and help people. But, then it even got to the point where when I was paying for these slots, and, not even just the TV slot, but paying your videographer, your editor, things like that, getting those guest features, those celebrities. And I never paid for a celebrity speaker, by the way, which is awesome because most people have to pay for them. Yeah. So that was a blessing in itself. But my main goal was really to give back, to showcase Hampton Roads on another level. But when it got into spending the money, it was like, whoa. I have to make money back. Like, you know, like it was to the point where I was spending and investing so much money in my show, and I had dug myself so deep into it that it was like pay for my show or pay my rent.
Wow.
You know, and I almost got evicted from my place from caring more about my show than my well-being, because it was like, okay, now you're in it and you didn't really do your research on it before you got into it. So now you're in a position where it's like, what's she gonna do next? Is she gonna make it, or is she gonna fail? And I'm faking it while I'm making it, you know. And but people don't know that, you know. I was living at 2022 Plow Lane, you know, out South Norfolk, you know, right next to I don't know what that neighborhood is called, but it's bad. It's bad out
Berkeley?
there. Near Berkeley.
Okay.
But off of what is that road called? It's a neighborhood. You got to go back this real back road. I don't know what it's called, but it was the day my show went on TV. They broke into my car.
Oh wow.
You know, I'm still getting food stamps. I'm still on Medicaid. Like, and then like 3 days later, it was 4 guys outside my house, and I heard them like politicking at 3:00 in the morning about how they was gonna break into my house and rob me because they thought I had all this money that I didn't have. Yes.
Wow.
Yes, they didn't. And the guy was out there like, this is the girl with the blue hair house. You know?
Wow.
And that's what woke me up out my sleep. It was like, whoa, I got blue hair. Who's outside? You know? And they were really out there arguing about breaking into my house.
Wow. Did you call the police? What happened?
I was scared. I didn't know what to do. It's like, you know, I didn't want to call the police and, you know, alarm anybody, because I'm always like, I don't want to get a black man arrested. I don't want to get him locked up. Maybe he don't know no better.
Black man was trying to rob you.
I didn't know what to do. I bought some water. I got my gun. I was like, look, somebody gonna get fried today. Yeah, I was like, somebody gonna get fried today. But I moved the very next day.
Good.
I was gone. I was playing no games. Like, I was like, you know what? Now, in that faking it till you make it, it's like, okay, now I have to move into a place that costs twice the amount of money that I'm paying in rent, because
you need
people
protection,
think
you
that
need safety.
People think that I have this lifestyle that I don't have.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Oh my God.
It taught me a lot.
I'm pretty sure it did. So, as far as your, you know, you said your spiritual awakening, did it come like right before, you know, you were pregnant, after you were pregnant? Because you said you had you got pregnant with your twins in season 2 of your show.
Yes.
So
it was actually my second spiritual awakening.
Okay.
I had one before, and I like ignored it, ignored my gifts, kind of like was just like whatever.
How did that go? How was the first one?
The first one, I don't know what happened, to be completely honest, but it got to a point where I was like hallucinating. I woke up and they wanted to take me to the psych hospital.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm not going to no crazy hospital. There's nothing wrong with me. You know what I'm saying? But I was dealing with this guy who had just enlightened me, you know, on another level. And when someone enlightens you, you get to researching, and then you start getting them downloads and things like that. So it was just really overwhelming for me, because he wasn't really prepping me the way that he should have with the information that he was giving me. It kind of fried my brain.
Wow.
You know, and so that's why when it happened this time, I was able to kind of creep back into it this time and not be so overwhelmed. But with my pregnancy, it was really weird. I took a pregnancy test and it came back negative. So I was like, oh, I'm good. I broke up with the guy, so I just wanted to make sure I wasn't pregnant. So I really, you know, thought I was fine. And it was like a really weird gap, because I found out 6 weeks later that I was pregnant.
Oh, wow.
And it was weird. And it was like, how did I get pregnant? You know, I was on birth control. I had been trying to get pregnant prior and couldn't get pregnant. So I didn't know, you know. So what really kind of took me through it this time was him denying the babies. I've never experienced that before. I've never experienced the guy saying, oh, that's not my baby. Wow. I never slept with her. What you mean you never slept with? Like, I hear women go through this, but you never
think it's gonna be us until it happens to us.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, like, and then it's like, deny me. At this time, I'm on SKYTV. I had just moved from that 12:30 slot to 4:30 on Saturdays. You know, everything was going good for me, so it was kind of like an insult. Like, how you gonna deny me? Like, it was almost like he was acting like I had a disease and some more stuff. Like, ooh, I ain't never slept with her. Wow. And it got to a point where it was kind of like, it was embarrassing. Like, this guy's denying ever sleeping with me. He was my boyfriend. Like, he denied ever dating me. It was just like what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Like, what's, it was like, what did I do wrong? Like, how did I end up in this predicament where a guy is denying me?
Right.
Of all people, I pay my bills. Like, I'm on it. Like, I got my stuff together. Like, how are you denying me? And so that kind of, you can't really talk to anybody when you pregnant. It's kind of like, oh, she nasty. She dating somebody else while she pregnant. So it really made me have to reflect and go into myself and be by myself and with myself, during that time frame. And then I also had to make a decision to not be angry. Because with my second son, I was angry my entire pregnancy. And to this day, that is my little angry bird.
Really?
Like, he is just so high sprung and just so like, what do you mean? Like, he just starts spazzing when you ask him a question. But that's how I was that entire pregnancy. So you really,
that energy
really transfer those things into your child when you're pregnant. It's so real. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to be happy this pregnancy. I'm not going to worry about him. I'm just going to,
You chose to affirm your power.
I was like, I'm a surrogate mother. Yeah. Like, I was like, well, he denying me. I'm denying him too. People was like, who your baby daddy? I don't know. I don't got no baby daddy. I went and got artificially inseminated is what I started telling people, because I just didn't want to give people the backstory and all the stuff that I was going through. But it really made me go within myself. Yeah. And then at that point, I was, praying a lot. I didn't start going back to church yet, but I was praying a lot. I was really just talking to God all the time. And I had to quit my job because my water broke. Like, I went to work Tuesday, my water broke Wednesday, and then the doctor was like, yeah, we have to keep you here until you have the babies. And I'm like, well, when is that going to be? Because at this point, I'm only 26 weeks pregnant.
Wow.
They're like, well, we want you to keep them in until they're at least 36 weeks. I'm like, that's 10 weeks. You want me to stay in the hospital for 10 weeks? Wow. So then I started like looking for like support groups, and I'm like meeting women who's been in the hospital for 100 days. And, and I'm like, and they're like giving these horror stories.
Oh my God.
And I was like, nope, I'm not going to carry it like that. I was like, can I bring stuff from my house? Can I do this? Can I do that? I really made my room.
Your home.
My home. And I brung a lot of like my meditation stuff. I used to have a routine every single morning, and it was just like a whole spiritual experience to myself. Yeah. And then when I got out the hospital, I was like, just talking to God, like, how I'm going to pay my bills, how I'm going to do this. I don't have no job. Well, I could go back to my job, but my children were then in the NICU because they ended up coming at 29 weeks. So they were 2 pounds, 4 ounces. They're telling me that my son didn't make it. So I'm thinking that when I go see my babies, I'm only going to have one baby. So I ended up having both of them still. So that was a blessing, because I didn't claim it when they said, oh, your baby not gonna make it. I was like, the devil is a lie.
Yeah.
Hit him with the old school line real quick.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna claim that. I'm not gonna let you tell me that something's wrong with my baby. Yeah. So from that, I was like, I can't go back to work because I didn't even know what was going on with my babies. I didn't know when they were coming home. They can't give you a date. So every day is nerve-wracking.
Wow.
They don't tell you. I literally didn't know when my babies were coming home until a couple of days before they were coming home.
Wow.
So
how long did they keep them?
Altogether it was 13 weeks after I had them.
Wow.
Yeah, 13 weeks. And I'm sleeping on a recliner every day. At that point, their dad, he came to the hospital after they were 4 days old. He came to the hospital. He kind of looked at them, and he was like, oh, I'll be back. And then he ended up getting arrested 10 days later. Wow. But he never came back even, in those 10 days. And I was just like, God don't like ugly. You gotta do what you're supposed to do. But even then, though, I wasn't pressed about us being together because that's not what I wanted.
I already denied him anyway.
So I was just like, that's not what I wanted. But I did want him to be in his children's life. I didn't want my kids to grow up the way that I grew up without my father. My father trying to see us, but because my mother's walking around with this chip on her shoulder, from her still wanting to be with him or whatever the case may be, it was like, oh, y'all daddy ain't nothing. So we never had a relationship with our dad. And I didn't get to know my dad until I was 30 years old. I'm 31.
Wow.
You know, so, and I'm just now building my relationship with my dad. So I was like, what I don't want to do is what my mom did to me.
Yeah.
And, you know, I forgive my mom. You know, I do share a lot of my traumas with my mom, but we do have a good relationship now.
Yeah.
But it's still a work in progress.
Of course. It's
but
always,
I just want to make sure I don't put my kids through the same things that I went through. But back to the spiritual awakening thing. So when I got out the hospital, when the kids got out the hospital, I was like, God, how am I going to pay my rent? My rent was $950 at that point. Mm-hmm. I was like, I don't have any money. You know, I'm not doing anything with my life. I can't put the babies in daycare because I'm scared. I don't know what's, you know, going to happen with them. It was just so much stuff. So God was like, go to the SSI building, you know, go do this. He was just really guiding me through these steps and told me to move to Raleigh. I'm like, why? I don't really know nobody in Raleigh. I'm giving God, I don't have no money. I don't have this. I don't have that. And God is like, well, go do this, go do this, go do that. And I got the money to move. And then I'm like, well, I don't have no job. How am I do it? Don't question me. Just go do it. So I did it. And that was an experience in itself. I ended up linking back up with my spiritual advisor from Virginia. She now lives in North Carolina. Wow. So I ended up linking up with her. And that's what really took me through my journey, and her really making me face all the things that I didn't want to face. And then once I finished that phase, God was like, all right, go back to Virginia now.
Now you're here.
Now I'm here.
How long have you been back?
I've been back now. It's been about 2 months, but permanently about 3 weeks.
Okay.
Because I've been like kind of just trying to transition, get everything together because now I'm in the process of purchasing a building to open up the encouragement house.
Yeah. So talk about the encouragement house and how you were, what inspired you to open up the encouragement house.
So basically what me and you were talking about before we went live, I've always been that girl that want to get along with everybody, want to empower everybody. If somebody don't like me, I'm like, hey, let's talk. Yeah. Let's sit down. Let's figure out why you don't like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've always been that girl, and my friends be like, you need to stop doing that. If they don't want to be your friend, they just don't want to be your friend. I'm like, no, she's going to be my friend. I'm going to be her friend. And we're going to figure out why we can't be friends. You know what I'm saying? And so from that, I started just dealing with people from all walks of life. I started introducing those people to each other, and I started hosting sleepovers at my house. Nice. You know, and it was married women, single women, mothers, women that weren't mothers, and
this
I was
down
just
in Raleigh?
No, this was in Virginia before I left.
Wow, okay.
I was hosting these sleepovers, and people just was like, you're always so encouraging. Your house is encouraging. This is the encouragement house. My friends had named my house before I even moved.
Wow.
And so when I was gone through that journey and talking to God, it was just like, you know, it's time for you to go back to Virginia and not create that experience just for your friends, but create it for women all over. And I suffer from anxiety really, really bad. So those are my focuses: depression, low self-esteem, and anxiety. 3 things that I suffered from. I feel like that's why women don't link up. That's why we don't get along, because we have these things that we suppress: this depression, this low self-esteem, this anxiety, and it makes us be catty and not know why we don't even like the next person. She's pretty, I want to talk to her, but because I have low self-esteem, I'm gonna find a reason not to like her. You know, and it's unnecessary. So I wanted the encouragement house to be a place where women could come together and fellowship and get along and just dig deeper. You know, we all relate some way, somehow. We, you know, it's in some way we relate. Just like you said, when you were going around doing that petition for that traffic light, you don't have any kids, but you still know what it's like to be a single mother, because your mother was a single mother. So you felt for that woman, because you could have been that child. Could have been. You know what I'm saying? So you know, and that could have been your mom. So, you know, I had to push my anxiety behind me. Like, I really had to push it behind me. I really feel like mental illness is a mindset. Yeah. And I told myself that I'm not going to have anxiety. I'm going to get up and I'm going to go to these events.
And that's what my thing is, because I know people say, like you just said, mental illness is a mindset. And people say that it's a mental illness, like it's a mind illness. And I feel like if we tell ourselves, we talk to that anxiety or whatever it is and say, nothing is wrong, or I'm just overthinking, everything is fine. If you just talk to yourself, talk to your mind, like, you tell it where to go.
Facts.
Like, we have to.
Facts.
Because I feel, and that's why for a long time I was telling my friends that I didn't understand anxiety, because I don't feel like I suffer from anxiety or have anxiety, because I'd be like, well, what is that? Y'all saying?
I feel like anxiety is honestly a form of low self-esteem. I feel like it's a form of like past life traumas, especially women that have been raped. Like that really gives you anxiety, because it's like you always looking over your shoulder, watching where you go. You don't want to go certain places because you're just scared. I know, like at one point when I had got raped, like I wore sweatpants forever because I didn't want people to look at me the wrong way or say, oh, what you have on is the reason why I did what I did to you.
Right.
But I also had to come out of that and realize that, no, that person is just sick. Yeah. It ain't me. It won't what I had on, because that don't give you a right to do anything
exactly
to me just because I have on a certain outfit or, but society has pushed us into these boxes and make us feel like these things are wrong with us, when in reality we really just got to face the things that we've been through and talk about them and heal from them. And then, it's just a stigma in the Black community. We were taught not to, talk about our problems, hide our problems. If your lights is off, don't tell nobody. Ain't nobody supposed to know.
Exactly.
No, I'm not about to sit in the house in the dark.
Right.
No, ma'am, I cannot do it. Girl, can you help me? Girl, can you give me $50? And, then people are scared to ask their friends for help because people talk about people.
Yeah.
But I feel like people only talk about people to hide their own problems.
Exactly.
And that's
why it's easier to talk about somebody else's issues and problems than to talk about your own. So
and that's what made me start talking about my problems, because I was like, well, if I talk about my problems, then nobody else can talk about my problems.
Exactly.
Nobody can talk about me if I'm already talking about myself.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I really started seeing my testimony help people. I just kind of started venting on Facebook as like a coping tool and mechanism, and then people started inboxing me, asking me questions, and I kind of just started having girl talk and conversations with people, and that's how I got into life coaching. Like, people were, you my life coach, you my therapist, and I'm like, I ain't no therapist. I'm just giving you some real life advice and things that I've been through. And after being called a life coach and a therapist for a year, you kind of start to own that title.
Exactly.
Because that's what what I was being called. I am now in school getting my certifications and things like that. But I don't feel like, even being in school now, nothing's teaching me how to be a life coach or a therapist other than my own experience.
Exactly. And some of the women had touched on it yesterday at the Girl Talk and Martinis, and they were basically talking about schooling and how, because I know for me, it didn't take me going to school to know what it is that I wanted to do. Like, I knew that I wanted to have a show and all that stuff or whatever. Yeah, and I did go to school, but it's all about your experience, because, again, when you get jobs, they want to know what your experience is. They could probably literally care less about the degree. They just want to know, how long have you been doing it, and can you do it? Do you know what you're talking about?
And especially in entertainment, if that one sheet right, you good.
Exactly. Right.
Because I never went to school for, radio, for TV. I just knew what I wanted to do. And even when I did go to school, it was my mom being like, well, just go to school until you figure out what you want to do. And I did know what I wanted to do, but, your family see you as being a lawyer or a doctor or, something else. So it's kind of like you don't want to. Matter of fact, when I told my family I wanted to be Oprah, they laughed at me.
Really?
They was like, girl, we can't be Oprah. People like us don't make it there. And I'm like, well, how you think, Oprah made it there?
Exactly.
And Oprah talks a lot about, if you get into her backstory, her family just like ours.
Yep.
She's no different, and she from Chicago. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They go hard in Chicago. So, you can only imagine how she grew up. But I feel like, we're taught to think small. We're taught to not think outside the box. I remember the first time I got sponsored by Her Imports bundles.
Yeah, how was that?
I reached out to them.
Okay.
My cousin, she's a hairstylist, Virtue Beauty Hair Salon. Shout out to them.
Shout out to them.
She was like, you should reach out to Her Imports and see if they'll sponsor you some hair. Now, at this point, I didn't know that Her Imports was the biggest bundle company in America, that it was the first bundle company to finance hair. I did not know that. I was really just like, hey, I have a TV show on SKYTV and I'm looking to barter with you. I want to get some bundles from you. In exchange, I'll give you some, free commercial time, some airtime on my show. Mm-hmm. And the owner, the CEO of Her Imports, who is actually a man, he gave me his phone number. I called him, and, he was just like, I think it's really dope that you reached out. He was telling me about that they had 3 offices in Virginia, and the office is actually in Virginia Beach.
In Pembroke.
In the Pembroke building. And he was like, you can go up there, you can pick out some hair. And he had sent me the commercials. One commercial had Remy Ma in it, to air on my show. Yeah. I was like, oh, snap. They sent me a Remy Ma commercial, and then they sent me like another commercial, basically just saying that they provide all the hair for the celebrities. But when I walked in, it was like a boss desk, and they laid out all the bundles, and I was like, what can I get? She was like, whatever you want.
Shit.
And I was like, what?
I'm gonna just take all of these. I've been walking out
what? But I walked out of there. With $600 worth of free hair,
wow.
All because I didn't know who they were, and I wasn't intimidated.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I knew who they were, I probably would have been intimidated. I'd probably been scared to hit them up. But then when I did that, I started looking into like different companies and finding out that different companies have budgets that they have to give away a certain amount of product, and and things like that. And if you hit them at the beginning of their quarter, you in there.
Right.
They're looking for companies to give away their stuff to, but I thought so small.
Yeah.
And people had me thinking small because of their fear and their anxiety.
And
And, so I thought that I couldn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because people would definitely try, place, their fears and insecurities on you because of their, like we talked about, their own personal feelings for themselves. And sometimes people feel like, how can she do it? She from the same place we from. Like, people like us don't get to be Oprah. When, yes, we really do. If we really work hard at it, and if you pour into me, and if you tell me that I can, then shit, maybe I just might.
When Oprah became Oprah, she was a news anchor. And she left the news station to go audition for the show.
Yeah.
And they told her that she was stupid. Like, they really talked down on her. Like, with your experience, they're not going to give you the job. And she took that leap of faith and she went. And they named it the Oprah Winfrey Show. Exactly. She wasn't even expecting that. You know what I'm saying? So you have to jump out on faith and not be scared. And sometimes nobody is going to be in your corner.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah.
But you got to go for it.
But you have to always go for it.
You got to
go for it. So back to the Encouragement House. And this is your flyer for the Encouragement House. And you have a book free consultation?
Oh, well, no, I'm in the, my book is a self-love book. That's what's on the back, the affirmation cards. Yeah. The Love You Louder brand, which that's my self-love brand. I created that brand basically for exactly what it is. Love you louder. You know what I'm saying? Love you louder. Yeah. Even then in the decisions that you make, we make poor decisions. You know what I'm saying? So love you louder. You have your lower self. You have your higher self. You know what I'm saying? And we make decisions sometimes for a small piece of gratification, and we don't really think about the bigger picture or our future or what that little decision might, do. It might take you 10 steps backwards or 20 steps forward. So with the Love You Louder brand, my mission with that is for people to really, really think before they do something, and to love yourself louder before you get into that bad relationship, before you go hang out with them girls that you're not supposed to hang out with, before you say, oh, let me go out with my girls tonight instead of staying home with my kids. And, because I have homegirls that would drop their kids off to literally anybody just to go out.
Wow.
And then, trying to figure out why these little children are being molested and why these kids are going missing and,
Absolutely.
why things are happening to our youth and our kids and how are our kids being grabbed by the streets and things like that because we're making poor decisions. And I used to be a bad mom.
And you said that yesterday. And so why do you feel that you were a bad mom?
Well, I had I got pregnant when I was in high school. I was pregnant my senior year in high school with my first son, Josiah. He'll be 13 this Friday.
Oh, happy birthday, Josiah.
Yes. And I talk to them about this all the time. They're like, "Ma, you're not a bad mom." But I just feel like, I got married right out of high school. I didn't know who I was yet. I didn't want kids yet. You know what I'm saying? I had been taking care of kids my entire life, being a teenager. So when I had got married, at that time, my husband was so bossy. And I was like, if I wanted to marry my dad or if I wanted to be told what to do, I would have just stayed at home, for all of that. So it was like, I didn't want to be in my marriage anymore. I wasn't in a position, to get a place or to do this, that, and the third. So I told my ex-husband, you gonna take the kids. And I left them with him. I walked away. And,
I don't think that makes you a bad mom.
I don't regret the decision now. You know what I'm saying?
Because if you have a boy,
but
he need to be with his daddy.
I'm going to tell you the part that made me a bad mom, though. When my sons did come in town, instead of being a mother, I wanted to go out. I wanted to run the streets. I wanted to chase my boyfriend. And my boyfriend broke up with me because he said, you put me before your kids.
Ooh.
That hurt.
Yeah.
Because I really love this dude, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was putting him before my kids because I'm like, at the end of the day, they going to go back and be with their daddy and it's going to be me and you. So I need to pay attention to this because they're not going to be here. And he's like, no, you need to pay attention to them because they're not going to be here. You know what I'm saying? So that's what did make me a bad mom. And a lot of women do that. You know what I'm saying? Like they boyfriend come over, they making him steak and potatoes and giving the baby a hot pocket. I was that mom. I was that mom. You know what I'm saying? And it really took my boyfriend at the time calling me out and telling me about myself in order for me to get right.
Pause. We need for you men to really stand up because y'all know y'all have women in y'all lives or whatever that are not taking care of their kids.
And you're not gonna marry her.
And you not about be
real. You know you're not gonna marry her. You know
these women.
You know you're not gonna have no kids because guys really look at stuff like
that.
They do.
They be like, and that was some real for him to tell you that. For him to tell you that because
he told me, he was like, I wouldn't want you to be a mother to my kids because he was like, if you get into a let's say me and you break up and you get into a relationship with another dude, you gonna neglect my kid for your dude. And I was like, dang, that's real.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because he can only go off of what he was seeing.
Right.
And it's like, how am I going to have a baby with you when you ain't even living right?
Right.
He was right.
Yeah.
And I thank him to this day.
Yeah.
Because that really changed my life on another level to the point where I was like, if I ever have kids again, I'm going to be the best mother ever. And that's why when people see me with my twins now, some people don't even know I have older kids.
Yeah.
But when they see me with my twins, they're like, oh my God, you're such a great mother. But that's because I made that promise to myself that if I ever had kids again, I was going to be a great mom. Like to the point where, guys be like, oh, can you come over? Can you hang out with me? Yeah. I got my kids. I don't want to, if you're not going to be in my life, I don't want to even introduce my kids to you. Yeah. My kid's not about to have 100 uncles.
Right.
That's just your uncle.
Right.
No, they're not about to have 1,000 uncles.
Right.
I really
you affirm your power to be a good mother.
Yes.
And that's just how you do. You stated as a fact, I'm going to be a good mother.
And something else I want to touch on that I think some people might have taken wrong yesterday was when I stated, I was a hoe. I do want to talk about that. I feel like every woman has a whole phase, and I want to
explain the whole phase. Explain the whole because I feel like some people just misconstrue it as just you a hoe because you having a bunch of sex, you passing STDs around. Are you just
that's just nasty?
I feel like that's a hoe.
Oh,
I feel like that's a hoe.
Then I ain't a hoe. That's nasty. I was a freak.
Okay.
I was was a freak because I want a hoe. I wasn't out here like passing stuff around or nothing like that. And that's why I did want to clarify that because I didn't want people like, oh, she nasty. Like, no. It was in 2009. Me and my husband had separated, and I was just really lost. That was the only man I ever had sex with. You know, from when I lost my virginity at 17 and a half to 21 years old, that was the only man I had ever slept with. So when because he did his dirt. We was young. He was out there doing him. So I was at a point where I was like, I wonder what some new dick gonna feel like.
Right.
You know? And, you know, I kind of went through it was a summer '09. That was the best summer of my life. I ain't gonna lie. But, you know, I was just being a college kid is what I'll say.
Was being a woman.
I was being a kid. I wasn't, you know, I ain't know some of their names. Yeah. You know, but I always used protection. You know, but I was that girl that, you know, at that summer it was like forget these dudes because I was mad. You know, I was hurt. My husband, he had hurt me. So it was like treat these dudes like they treat me. I'm a have sex with you and I ain't gonna call you the next day.
Right.
Oh well, forget you. You know
big
what I'm
old
saying?
Freak. that big old freak. That's my song.
So that's what I meant by that. And you know, that point in my life changed me too because, you know, I was kind of lost and I was trying to find myself. I was looking for love in all the wrong places, and that was the message that I was trying to get out yesterday when I was explaining myself, because I feel like so many women, we get done wrong by one man and then we become bitter. Yeah. And so now we categorize all men in that same category, and it's like, oh, all these niggas is dirty, all of them, and then you end up doing a good man dirty. Yeah. And pass up your blessing. I didn't miss a lot of blessings. I'm sorry to all the men I ever hurt. I didn't mean it. I didn't know myself then, you know. But I feel like I've been forgiven for all that karmic debt, you know, because I was really young. Yeah. With the phase that I was talking about. But I really be wanting women to know, you know, that don't be afraid to, like you said, affirm your power. Talk about the things that you've been through. Talk about the things that you've done. And I'm just not ashamed. You know, I was a dancer. And even how I got into that, I was about to lose my crib. My homegirl was dancing. She was like, "Look, girl, just come up here and get this money real quick," you know? And I got into that or whatever, and then I didn't like it, so then I got out of it.
How long were you doing it for?
A year.
Okay.
I danced for a whole year, and let me tell you, I took my career to the next level. I was like, ooh, all right, forget mermaids. I'm about to go to Greensboro and strip. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where the money at. I'm going to Atlanta. I'm going to Jersey. But, you know, going through that, you know, and I feel for those women in that industry.
Yes, because, okay, so let's talk about it. Because some women who are just like, I need bills paid. I'm about to get evicted. I have college debt and all that stuff. Do you feel that it is a lucrative career to have, as if you are there specifically for what you're trying to obtain?
The money is great.
Okay.
The money is awesome, but is it worth your self-esteem? Is it worth being belittled? Is it worth somebody throwing you a couple of dollars and seeing your body and calling you a hoe, you know what I'm saying? But you really just there to pay your tuition. Right. Is it worth the mental abuse? How I ended up leaving the club was this man wanted to dance for me, and he was like trying to talk me into like giving him a discount or whatever. And I'm like, look, dude, not today. I'm here because my kids are in private school and it's $500 a month, and he was like, you ain't nothing but a hoe anyway. Okay. And I was like, look, you little... I went off, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, because you get to know your clients, because that's what they are. They come there every week. They tell you their story. Oh, my wife is sick. This, that, and the third. And so, you calling me out for coming up here to get my money. But in all reality, you leaving your sick wife at home to come pay me with y'all money. Right. You know what I'm saying? And you could be at home cuddling your wife and loving your wife and hugging on your wife was what you should be doing. Right. And I went off on him. And from there, I was like, this isn't meant for me. And just a week before that, I got called into the office by the manager, and he was like, Satoria. Well, my name was Coy. He was like, Coy, he was like, I really don't feel like the strip club is for you. He was like, I listened to you talk to the girls in the dressing room, and he was like, your heart is just different. You know, like you talk to them more like a mother figure. You're always trying to help them. Like I would get out there and I would dance and I would help these girls pay their bills. You know, I would let them come stay with me, you know, just all types of stuff. I was just always trying to take everybody in and fix everybody. And, you know, when I look back over that time in my life, I know that I was there for a reason because it's still girls that still dancing to this day that reach out to me when they need that mental clarity, that mental break, that self-worth pep talk, you know, because the money is good. Especially in North Carolina. Y'all was making $3,000 to $7,000 a night, you know? A night. It make you
I'm on a debt-free journey.
And you know, like the strip clubs outside of Virginia are completely different. We had locker rooms, we had showers, we were treated lavish. They would take us home in limos.
Wow.
You know, like you get treated on a whole nother level when you work at a gentleman's club or like a upscale club. So, you know, it was hard to leave that lifestyle, but at the same time, I know that guys come in there and they record us.
Wow.
They put it on the internet. They treat us like animals. And I'm like, I have sons.
Yeah.
And your face is timeless when it gets recorded. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you might be 50 years old, but your 21-year-old body is still 21 on camera.
Right.
So, you know, imagine, you know, at that time, I want to be Oprah in my mind. So I'm thinking about my future. I'm like, if I stay in this strip club and these guys coming in here with cameras and I'm a mom, you know, I don't want my sons to be those boys in high school like, oh, your mama was a video vixen.
Right.
Your mama was a stripper, you know, and then my son's in school fighting and all of that
trying
stuff.
To defend you.
Trying to defend me.
Yeah.
That's what made me stop dancing. My kids, I had to think about my kids. And, you know, I speak to women to this day. And, you know, some women might not want to admit it, but they don't want to strip.
Yeah.
They don't want to do that. You know, the money is good. And working a minimum wage job sucks.
Yeah.
You know, especially like in my case, I could never get Section 8 because my credit was ruined before I even turned 18.
Yeah.
So, you know, I really had to get it from the mud, like having to make $900, you know, for my rent. And that's not including taking care of myself, my kids, my toiletries, you know what I'm saying, my expenses, to the point where I stooped low at points. Like I remember one time my light bill was like $580.
Wow.
And it was like if I didn't pay it, my lights was gonna get turned off. And this is a very transparent moment that I'm about to share. But I called a friend of mine and I was telling him what was going on, and he was like, well, I can help you if you sleep with me.
Niggas are they are so trash.
And it was like, you know, and I called my mom, and this is, I'm in no way bashing my mom, but this is what really happened. I called my mom. I told my mom what was going on. She was like, why you don't ask one of your guy friends? So then it's like, what do you do?
Right.
You're in a vulnerable position. Your mom won't help you. If your mom won't help you, who else you gonna call?
Gonna help you?
You know what I'm saying? So
shout out to my mom for helping me.
So now
she came.
So now it's like, now I got to call this guy back.
Yeah.
And I got to be like, all right, bet. This is what I'm going to do. Now, this is the what makes it even worse. He was married.
Wow.
So now I'm going to hell. You know?
Wow.
And I felt horrible.
Yeah.
I felt horrible. Now, this was all before the twins.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
was, you know, before the babies or whatever. But I just felt really bad. You know what I'm saying? And I felt worthless. I felt horrible. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like so many women are put in this predicament.
Yeah.
And it's not talked about.
It's not talked about. But you'll definitely have to catch up on my podcast episode, Bar Talk, Fight or Flight, which talks about, like, dating older men and all that stuff, and just, like, different arrangements and all that stuff, because women, like, really, like, go, or sugar daddy or whatever, like, women really go through that and they don't talk about it. Some women are embarrassed to talk about stuff like that or whatever, and we are more alike in ways than we know it.
And that's the whole purpose of the encouragement house.
Exactly.
The whole purpose is for us to get together, fellowship. Like I made a post last night where I got my daughter in my arm, my son beside me, sleep, and I'm like, my goal with the encouragement house is to create a network of women to where like, okay, yeah, we do need a night out. We do need a night out. So, okay, tonight at the encouragement house, 3 moms are going to stay back and volunteer to watch all the kids, and we're going to have a sleepover, and all those moms are going to go out. They're going to have all the other moms go out, have a good time, and we're going to put it in a rotation so everybody can get that night out. You don't have to sell your soul to some man that's married that's making you feel like crap. You know what I'm saying?
Some trash ass niggas.
I really, because... And all men are not like that. But some men do use women's vulnerability. And I've been in so many vulnerable positions where I couldn't call my friends and tell them what was going on in my life because they was going to judge me or, whatever the case may be. And that's why I became that girl that you can talk to. Yeah. You can trust me. I'm not going to tell your business to anybody. Right. And if I am, I'd be like, girl, I got this lady sitting in front of me right now. Your story is very relatable to hers. Can I please tell her your story? I'm not going to tell her your name. Right. Or some girls be like, yeah, girl.
That's out of respect,
you can introduce her to me or whatever. Yeah. But if they say no, I don't, but may I share your story because this could help save her life or change her world. Absolutely. And make her make a decision that she wouldn't have made beforehand. You know what I'm saying? And it took my spiritual advisor, Maribel, shout out to her. I love her, coming into my life and being that woman to sharpen me and tell me you ain't got to do that stuff. Yeah. You don't have to, lower your standards or lower yourself. She was like, keep yourself on a pedestal and the right people will, they gonna meet you there, But it took me time to get there. Mentally, because I had been so mentally beaten up growing up, by my mom who had been through things, not knowing my dad, by ex-boyfriends because I was just vulnerable. Yeah. So, so many women.
I feel like our vulnerability will put us in some situations that it's just like we're like, how did I even get
I've even been vulnerable for my friends. You know what I'm saying? Like where I've taken charges for a homegirl, in a car. It should have been her charge, but because I don't want her to get in trouble and I know what she got going on in her life, do that all the time. I take the charge, and then me and her ain't even friends no more. Right. It's like, dang, girl.
Exactly. How many? I mean, it's a lot of women that take charges for their boyfriends, do time for their men and all of that stuff or whatever. And where are they?
That's why you gotta love yourself louder.
Gotta love yourself louder.
You have to, because nobody's gonna love you more than you. Nobody's gonna have your back more than you. That's why I don't even get upset when my friends can't be there for me. Like when I just moved from Raleigh, literally only 2 of my homegirls could help me, and in spurts, but for the most part, I packed up my entire house on my own. But I won't like, oh, fuck my friends because nobody could come and help me. Like, no, they have lives of their own. They have things going on. We can't always think that everybody's supposed to be there for us. You have to be your biggest cheerleader. You have to have your back. Like, absolutely. And you touched on so much stuff yesterday when you was talking. I was like, oh, she is giving me life. Like you are a motivator. Like, on so many different levels, and I loved it. What you were talking about, but. Definitely. Like the encouragement house, I really wanted to be a place where.
So when do you think the encouragement house will be open? Because you already going through the process. You really already pretty much have, your tribe and everybody.
Yeah,
because LLC, it has been going.
The LLC is done. The business license is done. Getting the SWAM certification. Partnering with other nonprofit organizations. Getting the word out. My goal is to have the center open by this summer. Okay. But if not by this summer, I'm going to say October. Okay. At the latest. This year is definitely my goal to get everything done.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as far as with the encouragement house, are you looking to get like an office or like an actual house?
I want it to be like a church.
Okay.
I even want to have service on Sunday.
Nice.
But I don't want it to be I don't want to book pastors to come and speak. I want to book Tisha the Diva to come and speak. You know, I want to book people who have really done things to come and inspire people. I want it to be encouragement service. You know what I'm saying? I want us to start service off with the Meek Mill song. You know what I'm saying? You know, or fuck up some comments. You know what I'm saying? That's how I want it to be. Absolutely. Like, I want it to be a place where we can fellowship, come together. And Sundays would probably be the only day that I open the encouragement house up to men.
Okay.
Because I really wanted to be a place just for women. But, you know, women is going to talk about it so much that the men going to want to come. Yeah. So on Sundays, I want to be able to open it up and, you know, we be able to fellowship and come together because I do want women to know that all men are not bad men. Yeah. You know, and I want men to know that there are good women out here. And one other thing, too, because men be like, oh, you can't turn a woman that's been through things because we're not going to call it a hoe because we said a hoe is a nasty girl. So we're not going to call it a hoe. But, you know, a woman that's been through some things in life, you know, people feel like she can't convert, she can't change. But to me, those are the best women.
Those are the best women. We got all walks and all aspects. We know a little something about everything.
Yeah, you know, I prefer a seasoned man. I prefer a man that's been through some things. I
like refined dudes.
Yeah, I dated a man that was in prison for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? And when he came out, he had so much potential. So, you know, but he didn't see it. And I'm always trying to build my man up. I don't care where he come from. I could meet him walking.
Yeah, facts. Cause like my family, my sister, she was like, you ain't really had no type, teacher. You date guys with potential. So let's dive into that real quick because women, we go off of potential. We'll see something in a guy and we'll try to build and off of that. Come on, like, because you got this, we'll try to build off of that. But even knowing that this person still is not the one, but we still trying to build off of that potential. Why do you think it is that we do that to ourselves? Being, like you said, the encouragement house and loving yourself and all that stuff. Why do you think we dive in on that?
From my studies, because I do a lot of psychological studies, I do a lot of reading. So from my studies, you know, that's where that low self-esteem comes in. That's where that depression comes in. That feeling like, oh, well, if I break up with him, then I'm going to be by myself. Nobody else is going to want me. You know, I already have this many kids or this many baby daddies. You know what I'm saying? And we're settling. We're settling and we're scared to go for what we really, really want. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want a man that's going to buy me flowers just because. I shouldn't settle for anything less than that. You know, I meet men that be like, oh, I don't buy flowers at all. Oh, well, then
I can't talk.
So why am I talking to you? You know what I'm saying? But
it doesn't even make sense.
There will be a woman that wants those flowers just because that will date that man and feel like she can change him. You cannot change nobody. You can't get pregnant by them and change them. You can't meet their mama and change them. You can't even give a man $1 million and change him.
Exactly.
Because I don't know if you ever seen that movie Roxanne on Netflix.
Yes,
where
I love
that movie. You know what I'm saying? But that mom saved up all that money, gave it to that man, and he dipped.
Bounce.
Let me tell you, the same thing happened to my aunt.
Really?
Her husband, not even her boyfriend, he wiped out her bank account, left her with 3 men. And my aunt, she old school, she passed away now, rest in peace to her. But she never, ever, ever dated another man because she felt that she needed to wait for her husband to come back.
Wow. And he never came back.
She never took her wedding ring off. He married somebody else and everything.
Wow.
And these are things that my family don't talk about.
Oh, my God.
You know what I'm saying? So this is how I was raised, you know? My aunt, this man wiped out her bank account. They had 3 kids together. This man's still walking around to this day.
Wow.
And they didn't forgave him. I'm like, I don't even feel like that's a forgivable offense.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
3 kids?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? My aunt, she passed away of breast cancer.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that was a product of her loving this man so much, you know, that she harbored that feeling in her breast, her bosoms, and had breast cancer.
Wow.
You know, because we create the diseases in our bodies too, you know, from psychological studying, you know. I learned so much. We create so many things within ourselves and we settle for things because we feel like, oh, we not gonna get no better.
Yeah, that's true. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to understand that we cannot settle that we cannot put things in, even in our, like, in our psyche, so that we aren't able to carry things, because we carry so much. We have to be vocal. We have to make sure that we are talking about our problems. Find that person, find those people, find your tribe. Like I tell people all the time, there are groups on Facebook.
Yes.
It's stuff there are resources for you. There are resources for you, and resources like the Encouragement House, where you can reach out to Satoria and tell, share what it is that you want to share. It's so many people that are out here that aren't here to discourage you or put your business out or make you feel less than for going through or how you did it.
Facts.
Forget all of that. Forget all of that. Like, we just want to be better people all around.
All around. And I tell people, even, one of my clients, she's dealing, with something with her friend right now. And she's like, she's talking about me behind my back and this, that, and the third. And I even tell people to look at that in a different light. What is your friend going through?
Yeah.
Look at what's happening in her life. And that's why she's treating you like that. Don't not be her friend, but distance yourself. Yeah. Step back a little bit. Know that you're worth more than what she's offering you right now. Exactly. And it's okay to say, look, girl, you got a lot of baggage in your life right now, and I love you, but I got to step away from you because of what I got going on in my life. And she might cuss you out. Yeah. She might say you a bad friend. But if she's truly your genuine friend, she'll come back around. Yep. She'll come back around, and you just got to stand your ground. People need that realness. You know what I'm saying? I needed those people to come in my life and tell me the truth about myself in order for me to get my life in some type of order. I needed people to come to me and tell me, you cuss too much. You do this too much. You do that too much. You know what I'm saying? In order for me to change. Now, it's up to you if you're going to change these things and not about you, but it really took people being honest with me. I don't want a bunch of yes men around me. You know what I'm saying? And I also don't want to be a pretender or a faker, because it's people that really wake up every day and they don't like who they are. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wear makeup, I wear nails, I wear all of that. And I'm about to get these nails back popping. My nail tech is gonna be here because these drinks is raggedy. But be hiding my nails. But I like all of that stuff. But at the same time,
that's not who you are.
It doesn't make me. You know. But I wanted to come out to events, without my weave, without my nails, so people could really relate to me. You know what I'm saying? Because I am a diva. I am, I do love my glitz and glam and dressing up and popping. So, I really want people to know that, we, like you said, we all are connected. We all are connected some way, somehow. And, when the Bible told you to love your neighbor, that's what it meant. It meant to love everybody around you, no matter what. If you see your sister failing, or if you see her doing something dumb, don't talk about her. Don't bash
talk about her.
Inbox her.
Yeah.
That's another thing I hate too. If you really, really are genuinely concerned about what somebody got going on in their life, don't comment on their post. I hate that. Like, that really bothers me. Like, what's wrong? Or, girl, don't worry.
Reach out directly to me.
Reach out. Call me. If you got my number, hit me up. I reach out to people all the time on Facebook because I see them crying out for help. And they friends be right there and don't even see it, or encouraging the negativity and not encouraging them to be positive. Like, I seen a married lady. She was going through it with her husband, and she, started going off online, and her homegirls up there like, yeah, girl. And I inboxed her. I said, listen, I know you really don't know me from a can of paint, but like, you should really take that down, because not only are you embarrassing your husband, but you're also embarrassing yourself, and you're putting all this information out there. And then if you and your husband get back together next week, you gonna look stupid, and then, or you gonna be mad that you bashing your husband and somebody else that hopped in his DM because they like, oh, well, she don't appreciate him. Like, I was, it was the Breakfast Club. I was tuned in, it was a couple of days ago, and this lady set her boyfriend up, paid a woman to, hit on her boyfriend, and the lady did it or whatever, and then went back and lied to the girlfriend. And told the girlfriend, like, yeah, he hit on me. He tried to have sex with me, whatever. But the dude didn't do anything. He never tried to hit on her. So then when the girl ended up calling the girl on, FaceTime on three-way, like, because he's like, it didn't happen. He's like, call her right now, call her. So when she ended up calling the girl was like, oh, I lied to you. You don't appreciate him, so I can appreciate him.
Wow. Yeah,
And it was
careful,
you
ladies.
got people are
you gotta be careful. Like we was saying, people pray, PREY. They prey on you, so we have to be careful.
Facts.
We have to be careful.
There are vindictive people. You gotta, you gotta treat people accordingly. That don't mean you gotta be mean to them.
Yeah.
But you just, when somebody show you who they are,
believe them.
Believe them. That don't mean they can't change,
right.
But if they change, you'll see that change.
Yeah.
They don't have to even tell you that they've changed. Like, I don't have to tell people that I've changed.
Yeah.
People
you
call
can see
me.
It, yeah.
They be like, girl, what is you doing? What is you drinking? What is going on?
Yeah.
Like, what changed in your life that you are this new person? You know what I'm saying? And I don't have to tell anybody.
Yeah.
So.
This is so awesome. So before we go, is there anything that you want to share where people can reach you? So your name is up. So anybody that wants to reach out to Satoria Nicole is right there. So it's Satoria Nicole everywhere, okay?
Yes.
So is there anything that you want to share before we go? Anything that you want to put out there?
Giveaway. So you gonna have to tell them how they gonna win that some way, somehow.
Giveaway time. So what you have to be doing is you have to be following Tisha the Diva. This is for my ladies podcast. Satoria Nicole, as well as the Encouragement House. So make sure you follow all of those. And you can win a $10 Panera gift card. We'll probably roll out some other little stuff, whatever, but we are going to go ahead and give away a $10 Panera gift card to the winner. We're just going to do a giveaway, okay? So I'll make sure I roll out some giveaway rules, but you still have to be following all those IG names that I just mentioned, okay? So, yes, anything else?
Nope. I just, ask that people check out theencouragementhouse.com. It's just so many different ways to support it. You can share it. I'm taking donations for pens, papers, toiletries, because I also get out into the community. I give back to the homeless, things like that. I do a lot of different things out in the community. So, if you know any businesses, stores that want to sponsor, link up. I like giving shopping sprees to, underprivileged kids, things like that. I really want to link up with people, get out into the community and make a difference and build up, this esteem,
Let's build up the youth.
Yeah, build up the youth, and build up our women and even our men, just our community in general. I just want to encourage.
Yes.
So that's really it. Like I said, the Love You Louder brand, the affirmation cards are coming out on Mother's Day. And that deck is basically just a deck that's going to teach you how to love yourself, just love your authentic self, get back to your true self. And then I have the Love You Louder board game coming out in July.
Ooh.
Yes, it's going to be kind of like Monopoly, but it's going to be a self-love board game.
Oh, my birthday is in July.
Awesome. And then so we're going to have a ladies' night.
Yes.
I'm going to have to sponsor one.
Yes.
And then I also have the Love You Louder yearly planner that will be coming out for 2020. Which is just basically going to be a planner that has day-to-day activities for you to just learn how to love yourself.
I talked about doing a planner on one of my
you
podcasts.
Gonna do it.
So, yeah.
You going to do it, and I'm going to support it.
Girl, I cannot wait to see everything just unfold. I mean, literally from watching you on TV to you...
Sitting right here.
Show.
I'm on your show. You know what I'm saying?
Gosh. It just makes me so excited. And that's why I wanted to start This Is For My Ladies, just for a place to come and talk about things and to manifest your life, your dreams and goals, and just talk about everything that women just go through. And
you're awesome.
Thank you so much.
You're so awesome. You're so dope.
You.
Don't stop. Don't let, if I could give you anything, don't let the negativity stop you from doing what you're doing, because that is what stopped me from doing my TV show. It was just so much, and I was always just trying to keep everybody happy.
Yeah.
But you are making a difference by doing this, and don't ever change that.
Thank you so much, y'all. All right, y'all. So tonight, y'all can catch me at 757 Dance for Desire Dance at 176 South Rosemont Road. It's $10 cash, Make sure you arrive at 8:15 because we start dancing at 8:30, okay? All right. So make sure you follow me, Tisha the Diva, and make sure you follow This Is For My Ladies podcast. Make sure that you subscribe, like, leave a review, become a sponsor and supporter of this show just as little as $4.99. That is the minimum. But if you want to give more, you can. All right. So make sure you all follow Satoria Nicole at Satora. Is like Victoria, but it's Satoria. Okay.
Yes.
Nicole. All right. So this is for my ladies. Make sure that you all listen, like, share. If you have any questions, any topic, if you want to be a guest on this show, make sure you email me at tishathediva@gmail.com. All right. So it's Tisha the Diva. This is for my ladies, and I'm out.